All right, good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, friends, and guests. Today we have a wonderful speaker that is an internationally renowned American sculptor. He is very well known in the local community and is highly respected by many local artists as well as the international artist community. David began his art career at an early age of just 6 years old after his father took him to the San Francisco Art Institute. From that moment forward, he began taking numerous art classes and received his master's degree in sculpture from the San Francisco Art Institute. David has had some of his pieces shown at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, the Oakland Museum, and the San Jose Museum of Art. He has transformed more than 30 cars into amazing works of art, some that mimic a rocket or another creative design. He is a master of repurposing old, used materials, scrap, and many of his projects, and he loves to work with steel. It was at Burning Man in 2000, David built his first temple, called the Temple of Mind. It was the beginning of many temples to come in the following years. David's temples are built for many reasons that are non-religious and more for people to express feelings of lost ones, and they can be a form of closure for some who have experienced unfortunate life issues. It's a place to respect and pay tribute. David's most recent temple was built in Coral Springs, Florida to honor the victims of the Stoneman Douglas School and Coral Springs shootings. His temples of mostly wood and elaborate plywood cutouts are then burned at a given time in honor of loved ones and many others. David is a local Sonoma County resident and enjoys working with the community and local artists on projects of all shapes and sizes. He is a true American artist and sculptor. And without any further ado, let's give a nice, big, warm Rotary welcome to Mr. David.
There you are, and there's your button right there.
I'll probably push the wrong button.
We'll be here for you.
Okay. This is probably the most daunting lecture I've ever done. Because it's my own town. And I'm sitting here being intimidated by, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? God, I hope everything we do does that, you know? It's tough to do that kind of thing. I just want to say that Royce and Rick and his whole family have been so important to me as an artist. You know, Van Bever, for an artist, it's like paradise. I mean, there's so many different artists all around this community that utilize Van Bever's facility. Rick loved the Rotary, you know. I mean, he just meant so much to him, and I can't stand in front of you guys without bringing up Rick. Okay, I love him too. I do cars. I've done probably by now 38 automobiles. I don't think of that as my art. It's just kind of a fun thing I do every so often. I'll cut up a car and make something out of it. Over the years, I've done a lot of painting and sculpture and stuff like that. I don't think I have a whole lot of pictures of any of my art in here. I did a thing in Florida, and there. This was a trade. Someone funded some money for a project. So in the trade, I decorated his Jeep for him. That was actually done in Petaluma. When I do the decorated cars, I collaborate with a whole lot of people. Usually about 100 people work on a project with me. This is a bus that I made for a project called World Wood Culture. It was a project that a guy, I used to have a business buying different veneers all over the world, and he was flying across rainforest and saw the forest had been burnt and stripped, and it changed him. And he spent the rest of his life, he goes all over the world planting trees and brings like maybe 100 different wood carvers and woodworkers to different places. We went to Nepal, he's gone to Germany, Japan. Next year we're going to Japan. And his whole issue is reuse and working with materials. And he planted, in Japan you can only plant one tree because there's no place for him to plant trees. He wouldn't let him. But he normally plants like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 trees at a time. So this is a bus we did. It's up in my house right now in the rain. So when I was talking to a group of kids in Florida, and I couldn't get the projector to work, I realized it's really important to show your imperfection in your work. Not, you're trying to educate somebody, and if you show them your greatest work, it's always at their expense. Do you understand that point? It's better to say, this is my mistakes. I'm not trying to show you something and saying I'm perfect. The idea is to make you or the students become perfect. That sounds humble. I don't mean it in a humble way. I mean it that educating should not be. I don't know. This is one of the first cars that was done from Van Bever. They rolled all the steel for it. This is, I think it's about 30 feet long. And my daughter, when Molly was 17, she drove us from Petaluma to Nevada. I could have done prison for letting her do that. But the surprising thing about this, other cars, people, some people see them and some don't. A car that's got a million things on it, you can drive it down the street. But that thing was so popular. It didn't have anything on it. It just, I don't know why people liked it. It was just kind of a funny car to see on the highway. This is the second one. I gave the first one away, and Maggie, my wife, said, that was my favorite car. I'm making another one. And she didn't like the second one. She said the first one was good. So, I go to the desert to Burning Man, and what happened is the first temple I built, there was a kid in Petaluma named Michael Heflin, who was a young kind of biker, was in and out of trouble, but was just starting to mature. And I was like a role model mentor to him. And Michael went out outside of town on an evening on his motorcycle and was killed at 140 miles an hour. And it took us a long time to realize that he wasn't a good motorcycle rider. But when we went to the cemetery, the kids had never had death before, and they said Michael would have wanted us to go to Burning Man. So when we went, we were just going to go and have a party and burn some stuff. But as we were working, it became obvious to the kids that they were making a tribute to their friend that they lost. And why am I having? I can't see the button. I'm talking about here.
We're in the same boat together on this, so I know
I
sometimes
hit it wrong
you're
here.
hitting the laser button because I see the green light, but this one right over here.
Yeah.
You want me to just do? Why don't you just tell me what it's time out?
That's my wife Maggie and I in the desert. When we went to the desert, we were building this thing. It wasn't a temple. It had no intention of being a temple. But it became obvious to these kids that they were making something as a tribute to their friend that they lost. So we pretty unceremoniously threw some diesel in it and burned it. And the next year, I think I think I have a half hour. So Burning Man asked me to come back and build a temple. And I thought, okay, what would I build a temple to? I'm not a Jew, I'm not Catholic. So I thought, if you've had somebody that's taken their life, use the word suicide or taken their life, that's a difficult thing for people to close. And I thought, all right, I'll make a temple that the center of it will be dedicated to those people that have taken their life. so that the most painful loss could be celebrated in the center. And that year, 500 people put names of people that had taken their life, and 10,000 people put names in it, and then on Sunday night we burn it. You can go to the next one. This is made out of, this was all scrap wood from a toy factory in Rotary Park that used to make the dinosaur puzzles.
Yeah, I used to work there actually.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah.
So the scrap that they had, I used to get their scrap and put it together. It created nice patterns. Nowadays, it costs probably $40,000, $50,000 or more to cut the wood because they can't get the scrap anymore. Next. They're pretty. They're built in the desert. I only have a short period of time to do it. We can go to the next one. This is a drawing for one of the temples. We'd finished one of the temples, and the kid someone asked me what I was going to do next, and so I said, let's make one a quarter mile long. So this ended up being a quarter mile long. But the temples, I would have stopped doing them. It wasn't, it was like, we go to the next one. But one year, a man came up to me who was like a straight Eddie Bauer kind of doctor or lawyer, no tattoos, no piercing. And he said my son had taken his life, and he set him free. And I thought, plywood, scrap plywood from the toy factory. But for some reason, he had believed that his son wasn't at rest. And he went home, if you can imagine, he went home to his wife, who he hadn't been making love with, or she hadn't been making love with him, or they hadn't been talking. Maybe they left a new daughter. And he went home and said, our son's okay now. So I have no idea what he believed. So, whether he believed the spirit was lingering or something. So how do you pass up a job that heals somebody's family, I mean, it's like, I was stuck. Next. So this one is called the Temple of Honor, I think. I've lost track of which ones they were. This one, I ran out of material from the toy factory. So Mesa Boogie has a different type of scrap. It's vertical and horizontal because they cut out speaker boxes. So if you look at this, this is all vertical and horizontal lines. It was hard to get the crew to do that because they were used to the ornate decorative BS. And we had to go with straight lines because that was what the scrap material that we had. These are all, I forget how tall that is. That might be 90 feet, 85 feet, something like that. It's really fun to build stuff like that. I mean, to get the opportunity. At Burning Man, there's we don't have any planning commissions. No, we can go to the next one. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. We should have some planning commissions, but anyway. This was, it was just simple, real simple design. We go to the next one. This was a paper temple. I thought, okay, if I did a paper temple, then it would open the door to some other artist to come along and do something. Because my stuff all looks the same, so it would be hard act to follow. Well, we do a paper, then someone could come and do something next. What's a paper in the desert? That's a kind of a dumb idea. It started raining, and all the glue was coming off. We finally, everything was starting to fall apart, so we opened up a bottle of sake. Next. Yeah, so that was paper. So one of the things, when someone said, I'm looking forward to hearing you talk, I really felt pressured by several of the people here. And in a good way, but I really want to offer you something. I want to, I know Royce, I know Rick, Al Stack, Mary Isaac, you know. Our community is such an incredible community, you know, that I'm really, I don't know how to put it, I'm humbled, I'm honored to be here. I love our town and I love the whole idea of serving. I think that's what seems to be what the Rotary's about. The Druids are about that, you know. I think that's what makes us such a wonderful town, is that we can go down the street and see someone we know. And I think we have to always establish that. We have to defend that. So that we know everybody, you know. And I stop and talk to all the cops, because I don't want a cop to become a stranger to me. I don't want anybody in my town to be a stranger. You know? I want to, at the end of my life, I think this town, we should make it better. And that's what I'm struggling all the time to figure out how to help, you know, the pressures. I've been given a grant to do a project here in town, and it's really daunting because my daughter lives here, my grandkids live here, and if I do something weird on them, it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. I think you guys agree, you know. So this was paper. It was pretty. Everybody thought it was going to burn real fast. It took longer to burn than the wood. It was all hardwood. And I used to go to I like going to dumpsters. So there's different, all your carpeting places have tubes. So this is all carpet tubes. Next. So one of the ideas of my philosophy in terms of building the temple is that you want to make something so beautiful that somebody who's been raped can be drawn to it. And it has to be so strong at the same time that it can handle that rape. So I use beauty as a lure to get somebody to walk in and let go of something that's painful. I don't have a dog right now. I lost all 3 of my dogs. I have a sense of humor sometimes, but I spend a lot of time on kind of dark issues. You know, we can go to the next one. That's the next one. That's me working somewhere. I do a lot of prints, working with presses. This was, I think, in either Oakland or South San Francisco. Next, please. What I started to say about the dog and the sense of humor is that what I've been able to do is build something that enables someone to let go of some dark stuff. Next, please. That was scrap. This is all scrap material. This was before I had any cutting. We go to the next one. So this is big, very big. The idea of building a permanent one is something really special about it. We go to the next. This was my favorite, I have to say. I think that's making something temporary enables somebody who's had a suicide to be able to let go of it. If I made a monument, it would always be there. You know, and it doesn't work for me to make something that's permanent. I'm struggling with that because I have to make a permanent piece for Petaluma. You know, and I'll address that one with you guys as well. But I did this one. No, there's another one after this. Okay. We go to the next one. So I draw. I use a pencil. You know, I have people that do computers for me if I need it, but I pretty much like to still do hand drawing. Next, please. So that kind of looked like the drawing. We did one temple, that long one that I showed you a picture of. It's back in the days when we first started, and we only had one picture of it. It was that long drawing. And people would go up to the side of the truck and they'd go and build it. So we didn't have blueprints. As I got bigger, I have to kind of deal with structural engineers and safety issues. But I still like to have the organic process of someone trying to figure out how to help put it together. Because it becomes more creative. We go to the next one. That was a pretty template. Next, please. It's really fun to build. I can't tell you. When I look back on this, you know, I'm having the opportunity to kind of go, that was fun. Go to the next one. And then we burn it. Next. This is a real, I'm going to wreck it for you guys. It looks to me like a lawnmower with a spark plug on it. As soon as I finished, I went, God, it looks like a spark plug. Everybody, no, it's pretty. No, it looks like a lawnmower with a spark plug. This one, actually the steel for this, I didn't end up using the steel. But I got a bunch of ribs from Van Beckler, and I thought I'd make something out of steel, but it just, by the time we figured it out, it wasn't, no one could put it together, so we ended up making all the trusses out of wood. This was built in Petaluma. Next, please. Temple of Grace. Next. Well, there, see, yeah, so that was, I had a steel framework. And how we figured out how to get the top, how to make it, is we made, just giving you guys stuff that you'll never ever have to answer again in your life. Okay? So what we did is we built this tower first, and it started leaning our columns up to it. And then, after we got it freestanding and supporting with a pressure ring on top, a compression ring, then we brought a forklift in, and we started lifting these up. And these became the spark plug. Right? So we kind of served a double purpose. Next. Yeah, there's the. I'm going to go to the next. So, okay, we'll continue. We go next. I'm trying to watch the clock on this position, you guys. So the steel that I got from Van Becker ended up becoming these archways. They're skinned, those are skinned in steel. I don't remember when you might not remember the steel that I got. But. Next. People crying or hugging or sitting in the desert. We go next. The crew, I worked with a team of volunteers. We went to Florida, I brought just a small crew, I brought 20 to Florida with me, but normally I work with up to about 100 to maybe 100 people working on a project with me. And Maggie does all the cooking, so when we go to the desert, we're self-contained. Next, please. That was it. They do look like that. I don't think that's not Photoshop. But. Okay, next. So this one, okay, we'll go to one more. I think we still have it burning. No, back up, come back up. So, Burning Man used to have a lot more jokes in it. There used to be a lot of people goofing around and doing funny stuff, but it's gotten more mature. But as this temple burnt, it spiraled down, and it looked like a ballet dancer or something. Everybody went, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Well, in the 16th century, the French, when they made their tents, they would build it with a 6-degree angle, so that when they struck the tent, it came down." And I said, "Oh yeah, I've never heard about that." And I said, the hard thing was getting my crews to start working with a 6-degree angle instead of doing everything correct. Well, of course, there's no such thing, you know. But no one wanted to admit they didn't know that. So, yeah, I remember hearing about the French. The French are clever that way. So occasionally I like to create a little bit of a mystery. So we change the channel. Next one. This one was my favorite. I went to the pallet factory right over in Napa when it had the big fire. So I bought all their scrap. And I thought it was going to be cheaper than buying new wood, but it wasn't. But I used all their scrap from all their cuttings. And then we stained the whole thing. We go to the next one on that. So this whole thing was stained with vinegar and steel wool, where you get a gallon of white vinegar, you put a steel wool pad in it, leave the cap open overnight so that it'll oxidize. And that will give you a beautiful dark stains. It really works great on redwood. It'll go almost black. But so this whole structure, we stained every piece of the wood in baths of vinegar. So it smelled like vinegar for a while. So next. Yeah. Again, this is made with maybe 150 people building it. Well, I don't think I even touch a nail gun or a hammer anymore. You know, it's mostly the crew seems to go automatic. Next, please. And next. So at the end, we always put on the very top, I saved that for the crew to write the names of people that they had lost, and then we put that at the very tip. We go to the next one. That's not fog, that's dust. It's really next. And next again. We'll keep going. Let me go faster. I think I promised you guys a half an hour. Oh, now this was San Francisco. This is another, I'll give you some advice on things to do. If you're working on a project and you're running into trouble, like I was in Pittsburgh, I was in Baltimore, and I was working on a project, and this person was really messing with the project. And it didn't look like it was going to happen. And I called Maggie, I was practically crying, because it was like this person was really, she was gay. And I'm from California, I mean, come on. You know, she had just come out, and I guess she thought I was homophobic or something. So the project was almost to the teetering where it wasn't going to work. So I went back to the hotel or apartment where they really set the project up for me, and I called the Boy Scouts of America. And I said, do you have a developmentally challenged troop? And they said, yeah, we do. I said, well, I have a project. Would you like to bring your the Cub Scouts down and work with me tomorrow morning? And they said, you're dying for projects. Yes. So that morning, they brought 25 developmentally challenged Boy Scouts. So I called the newspaper. It was on the front page of the newspaper. They're the best working with the Cub Scouts. So you can mess with me all you want, but you don't mess with the Boy Scouts. That was it. That was it. Hands off after that. Okay? So that's, if you're in trouble, call the Scouts. So we're in San Rafael, and I was doing a project. The city of San Rafael wanted me to do a temporary project. And I said, okay, I'll do it if you give me a site. And they said, well, we've got plenty of sites. I said, I want to work in the Canal District. The Canal District down in San Rafael is primarily Hispanic, a lot of drugs and prostitution. I said, I'll work there. They said, okay, we'll get you a park. I said, no, I don't want a park. I want a place where the community is. So they said, okay, we found a place for you. This is a Mexican market. And the woman that owns the market said you could build something there. So we started building, and it was going to be the chapel of the day laborer. So I was imagining a Hispanic laborer coming home from work and going to the market and being able to go in and pray, because the churches are closed after hours. And so we were working, and one of my crews, someone came by in the newspaper and said, "What are you going to do with this?" And he said, "Well, if we don't like it, we'll burn it." Wrong thing to say, Sanderfeld. So the next day, it was red tagged. This person that owned the property, not the woman that had the market, but the person that owned the property, go figure, didn't like Mexicans. I mean, it was like, and she said, "I want this out of here." So I said, "Well, I can't take it down because it's not safe. I can't stop work because it's not safe." So the inspectors said, "Come on, get those people down." I said, "No, they got to stay there and make it safe first, and then we'll take it down." I mean, I just wanted to get it done. So I went home and brought a statue of Mary, I had a full-size statue of Mary, and I brought Mary down that night and put her inside the chapel. I took the red tag and had Mary holding the red tag. And told all the workers were there, and the Hispanic workers, and I took the thing down and I said, "She's illegal, I'm illegal, you're illegal, go in and pray." And they went in and prayed. And so then the newspaper came, 3 different newspapers came, so the city of San Rafael bailed on them, because they had given me permission to build. And this is another one of the Boy Scout things. I said, no, they were wonderful. They were stuck. They were just as disappointed as I was. Well, that's not true, but that's what I told the newspaper. So a month later, the city of San Francisco called me and asked me to build one in San Francisco. So when you get to the press, take the high ground. Okay? Just like the Boy Scouts. Don't say, the city bailed on me, or, you could do a little, go to the high ground. It opened the door to San Francisco. I could easily have talked bad mouth about the city of San Rafael, but it wouldn't have gotten me anything. Okay, so that's why the Boy Scouts and the high ground. So this was done in San Francisco. A political push for Gavin Newsom. I think he's a good man. I think he's genuine. I worked with him on this project, and I think he's actually sincere. But, so this was done in San Francisco. We can take it. It was up for 1 year. This is another push for you guys. This Arts Commission. I've been given a grant to build a piece of sculpture, and it's going to be right over by Hunt Barrens, right along the river there. And that's a kind of an unused walkway. There's some bicycle people use it. But it's really pretty. It could be developed into a nice area. And what I'm proposing to the Arts Commission is that I'm going to do a piece like a gateway, but that we can put 3 plinths or foundations along the way, and each year Petaluma can select an artist to put up a piece that'll be up temporary. So that way we can support our local artists, young artists and kids coming out of school, and a piece can be up for a year. What happens is it's up for a year, and someone hates it, it's only there for a year and it'll be gone. If they love it, they'll support the arts and want another one. So a permanent, temporary art site is what we want. I pushed that with Newsom, and he's a politician, so I said it to him every time I saw him. I said, Gavin, we're making a permanent, temporary art site. The 4th time when he was in front of the media, he went, "We're making a permanent, temporary art site." He's a politician, and a puppet. A nice guy. Next one. So, okay, we go to the next. Next. This is the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. We go to this one. It turned out they wanted to keep it up longer because the room that they used it's a sound. The acoustics were bad. Once we filled it up with wood, it worked. So that's up there for another year, I think. Next, please. I was concerned about building something in the Smithsonian, and I just did a thing in Florida, and I'm an outlaw. They asked me not to talk about suicide, okay? And I was working with 17 families whose children had been murdered. And they said, we don't want you to talk about suicide. 2 weeks ago, 2 kids committed suicide. We have to talk about things. We can't bullshit around. Smithsonian, I said to them, this is about people that have lost someone. Is that going to work in the Smithsonian? And at first, little kids wrote, I'm in Washington, D.C. And after a couple days, it just started filling up with stuff that was meaningful people to get rid of. Next, please. Next, please. So Northern Ireland someone asked me to come to Northern Ireland, and how are we doing on time?
We're about 5 minutes over.
5 minutes over? I'll talk faster. So Northern Ireland, I went to Northern Ireland. I brought a team of, I think I brought 20 people over, got 20 volunteers from Northern Ireland, hired 6 unemployed builders. They had to have been out of work for 6 months. And that was kind of to make it a political statement as well. So I had 6 paid employees. The rest of the people were volunteers. The Catholic priest and the Protestant minister came to me where I was staying and said, you can't build it up there, no one will come. This Catholic area, and it's former IRA territory, and we go to the next one, and no one's going to come. I said, well, you'll see. And the population of the area was 85,000, I think 70,000 people came to it. Worked with a bomber who had blown up a third of Derry next to a British soldier whose family had been blown up in London. They were ready for peace. They were ready for at least making some inroads to forgiving one another. Next, please. I rented a space in a factory. Van Bever, huh? There's places all over the world that are like Van Bever. Next, please. Next. There's my girls. Another thing, there's 2 ways of making a project sacred. Okay? One is to have somebody on your crew in a wheelchair. And another way is to reach out to, quote, challenge people. If you want to make a sacred space, that's how you do it. These gals work with me, and we go to the next place. Next. This is just pictures of the stuff. We go continue because I've only got a minute now. It was in the snow in Ireland. God, was it cold. Next. This kid, I don't know how in the hell he did it. I don't know how he did it. He grew up in the worst part of Derry. No father. He would get on his bike and ride up to work with us. And then when he finished working with us, he went and volunteered at the community center. He didn't swear. He didn't smoke. He didn't take drugs. How in the hell that kid came from that environment and maintained those standards, I have no idea. I would not have been able to survive in the environment he was in. And when we left, one of my next, please. One of my crew gave him a box of tools. This guy here, the short guy, I'm not going to swear. Come on, I love you, but you swore at me all day long. Next. 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 We'll keep going a little faster because I'm on my time. Continue. There we go. This is the person from Artichoke, which was in London, who helped fund the project. Next, please. We'll keep on. Derry has a suicide a day. Suicide a day in the Northern Ireland. There's no work, there's high alcohol, and there's a fast flowing river. So as people get, once a day someone jumps in the river. Next. This is some of the crew. That woman that looks Indian is on the Lamborghini team. She tunes racing Lamborghinis and goes all over the world. I mean, I'm a car freak. She doesn't like cars, but she goes and she does the tune computerized. Next, that's Ireland. We can go fast. Now there, this is good. First day there were 900 people. Sunday 2,300. Monday 3,700. Tuesday 5,700. Wednesday 6,500. Thursday 11,000. Friday 28,000. It was like a pilgrimage. We can go faster. And they didn't know who the hell David Best was, or Burning Man, or, it just. So, I'm going to fast forward. Yeah, you're doing great. Keep rolling fast, and I'll talk while we're doing it. I think an artist doing a project in Petaluma, if we're going to do art projects in Petaluma, I think the prerequisite for an artist is an artist should know who Rick Van Bever was, who Mary Isaac was, who the young girl that died underneath this freeway was, the kid that was killed on the bike on the street, used to push the grocery carts around collecting bottles. I think for our sake, artists that come here and want to build a piece of art in Petaluma should know the community. And that way it will reflect our community. Okay?
Let's hear it for David. And I have a speaker for the speaker. This is a Bluetooth speaker that will work with your cell phones. And so I'd like to thank you for making the presentation today. And congratulations on all you do for the city.
Okay.
Once again, everybody, for David.
Thank you. Royce?
And if you have any questions, come up and see him. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer.